when you see an elite athlete in the zone, there's not much like it. As a former coach of high level, just high school athletes, but still high level athletes, it was an amazing time when they really got locked in, focused on what was going on, the task at hand, whether that be an entire season and a state championship run or just a workout. Watching that athlete get locked in is something that I take forward with me in my real estate business and try and absolutely emulate as a sports guy, as the real estate agent playbook. That's where it's at. Thank you so much for tuning in. Jeremy Kane, the Real Estate Agent Playbook, as I just said. Thank you for listening on the podcast. Thanks for watching the YouTube. Share the show. Give me a review over on the podcast side. Like, comment, subscribe. We're going to get into this. As you know, I'm super passionate about sports. And so we're going to dive in. So let's go. If you take a look at top athletes and top business people across the board, especially top real estate agents, the mindset is always there. That elite locked in mindset, like I spoke a little bit about already, is something that's key and probably the most consistent thing that I see when rubbing shoulders with top producers and networking with people who are just at a little bit higher level than the norm in the real estate industry. Their mindset is absolutely dialed in, and it's something that, you know, in any sales business is something that's key, right? You have to have thick skin if you're door knocking and cold calling and doing that, but you also have to have a work ethic because your next paycheck is usually not promised in this industry, especially. And so, you know, you could be on a team and get fed leads and things like that, but that's not really what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the entrepreneurs, the, you know, people that are, you know, business owners within their real estate business, the entrepreneurs, the people that are always looking to grow. That mind body connection is absolutely there, and the mentality to put in the work, prepare, you know, stay in the work is always there. And whether that's, you know, reading the personal development side or getting the physical fitness down, you know, recently 75 hard game changer. Currently I'm, you know, at the beginning of just a 30-day refresh, 3 days in, and I'm locked in. The clarity is absolutely there. And it's all about that mindset around, okay, what am I putting in my body? What am I, you know, how am I getting sleep? How am I getting what I need to get done in this amount of time so that I can spend time with my family? And all of that goes into this mindset of real estate, because the rat race of real estate and chasing the next transaction absolutely can take over your soul, right? Like, the thing I love about this business is there's no ceiling, but sometimes that's a detriment because you can go and go and go. And, you know, if you're hitting and things are going well, you can continue to increase your income. However, once you get to a certain point, you're like, okay, how can I go and go and go in my systems over here and save time, right? Packing that AI in, packing the new stuff and packing those tools in so that this part is systematized so that I can free up more of my time to be with my family, to do the things, to start different business ventures and all of that. And all of that is the mindset that it takes to be a successful real estate agent. But guys like Michael over here who had a different mindset, who took their training regimen to a different level. You know, I'm reading Winning by Tim Grover right now. And one of the things in there is that it's not about getting 1% better. It's about getting 0.0001% better when you're at the top, right? Jordan worked every single day to get just a little bit better, you know, from talking about, you know, when he was lifting and working on his biceps. Well, you know, you're like, well, maybe the biceps are kind of a wasted muscle in the sport of basketball. You know, if you know anything about it, they're, you know, not necessarily used. It's kind of a billboard thing, but it was important to him because when he took his warm-ups off, that's the first thing you saw is this massive guns and had some sort of, you know, intimidation factor. And that was the 0.001% that he could do in that moment to focus on to get an edge on your competition. So pretty cool analogy there I thought about and figured I'd talk about it since I got him right here. And obviously Be Legendary is something that's, you know, synonymous with Michael Jordan for sure. So let's kind of break this down a little bit. First things first, we got to have the goal setting. You know that I've done goal setting on this channel. You can check out all those past videos on my goal setting regiment. Probably do some more coming up here towards the end of the year. I set goals quarterly, 12-week year is something, but you have to set the goals. You have to have that piece of mindset. I currently have quarter goals here, and this is kind of how I map them out as you can see, I outline them, and then I do kind of a mind map of my 4 goals here, and they're sitting right here within hand's reach. I actually didn't even plan to have them on screen, but that's what they're there. They're sitting there, so they're constantly in front of me. They're loose. They're not under my, covered vision board, because I want to have the ability to pick them up and take them with me and do all the things. So setting those goals is huge. And then you have to take a look at it, right? Athletes watch a ton of film, right? Peyton Manning, synonymous for, being just that film rat, where he would go through and analyze, why do you think he could call a play at the line just based on where the defense lined up and it would absolutely work, and why he had a Hall of Fame career at, not as a superior athlete, right? He just was absolutely prepared and dialed in. So watching that film, watching your stuff back, measuring what's going on, and actually keeping tabs on your business. The first thing that I see, and even in top producers, that is a kind of a red flag for me, is when I ask, hey, how are your numbers this year? What are your numbers? And they say, well, I don't know, right? I'm just doing deals and doing this. Well, you're just transaction to transaction at that point. You're not really a business owner. And you could be the greatest relational realtor and do all of that. I'm huge on relationships and sphere of influence, but you have to know that it's a business and you have to run it like a business. So knowing those numbers gives you something to compare to watch that quote unquote game film and improve. And then, obviously you're comparing your goals to, your outputs, and then you're able to, make better goals down the road, or increase your goals, or reach your goals, right? And so that's absolutely extreme parallel with top level athletes, top producers in the real estate industry, is that mindset, the goals, the ability to measure them, and the ability to manage, your time around it and not drive yourself crazy, right? So a couple things that you may want to implement, and these aren't anything groundbreaking that you haven't heard before. Morning routine kind of changed my entire trajectory. Waking up in the morning, just mind quick, is I wake up in the morning, I read 10 pages, try not to do too much on the phone, try not to even do it if I do it at all. Grab some water, hit the gym in my garage. I have, my weights and my Peloton. So I'm doing that. And then I come right inside, get in the shower, and then that's kind of some built-in family time right there, where my kids are awake now. We sit down, we have breakfast, we do our gratitudes. And typically that's the first 2-3 hours of my day is what I just described. Hit the ground running at 8 a.m. With work, but I've taken care. I've had some family time. I've gotten that energy. I remember my why. It's right in front of me every single day. My beautiful family. And then I've gotten a workout in, which clears, gets the endorphins going, whatever. I've gotten a little mental work in with reading, usually personal development. Like I said, reading Tim Grover's Winning right now. I will do a review on that book at some point when I'm finished. So make sure you subscribe so you can check that out. But then it's on with the day. But that morning routine really sets the stage for what's coming the rest of the day. Another thing is, visualization, right? You got to have your vision boards. You don't have to have it every day and do all the things. And a lot of people do some meditation and some visualization within that morning routine. Something I typically do if there's time between workout and the family, I definitely try and get some breathing exercises in, do box breathing, or, any of the millions of different strategies you can do to kind of bring that heart rate down and just relax and take in that fresh air. If you can do it outside, it's even better. Obviously weather and things permitting are there, but that fresh air is absolutely a game changer. My very favorite part of the 75 hard regimen actually is that outdoor workout, because it just clears the soul. So if you can get that in early, that's absolutely the case. The way my schedule works out, I do the weights in the gym in the morning, and then I do the outdoor workout in the evening or afternoon. And so that's where that comes in. But visualizing, right? Visualizing yourself doing it, visualizing yourself actually meeting those goals, and, shaking those hands and doing all the things that you want to do, speaking on the stage, helping other agents, which is obviously something I'm prone to love and coach and do all of that. It started out with coaching hoops, and at the high school level, won a state championship. Now I'm pretty successful real estate agent. So now I get to coach agents and I get to share, my experience and really help people dial in. And that's where my true passion lies. I love, helping. I also approach my clients as, kind of a coach and coaching them through this huge purchase and, maybe investment properties and how we're going to manage these and all of those things. So the coaching is definitely key to my success for sure. And with that said, having a coach is huge, right? I'm part of Arte Syndicate, Andy Frisella and Milet. That's a super inspiring, very tactical, dialed in group of, very successful entrepreneurs. Obviously, Andy and Ed are great, but the group in general is also amazing. At the Wolfpack, we have a ton of different coaches, a ton of different relationships that kind of come in, and, all the leaders in the group are willing to hop on calls with different people and help them out and share and help their group out and help their downline out. And that's what I love most about the Wolfpack is that piece. But get yourself a coach. If you're not part or blessed to be in a group like that or a brokerage like that, reach out. I'd love to, I'm not a coach for money. I just, have some realtor game plan calls. You can definitely book one with me, but that coaching piece is key, whether it's myself or, a true paid coach that will really hold you accountable and make sure you're hitting all those metrics and the training programs that you have to do to be a successful real estate agent. So yeah, as I mentioned, if you're interested in booking a call, no obligation, realtor game plan call below, hit that up. It's in the show notes on the podcast as well. I would love to connect with you and see how we can start to get your business more in control and dialed in, because I absolutely love, solving those problems, especially for agents. So at the end of the day, like back to sports and elite athletes versus agents, the market is a game, right? It's competitive. You got to be on your toes. Things can change in an instant. We're also reactive to the market, right? Where sometimes you're reactive to the game. If, there's outside things that affect every single person's performance, and the ability to block those things out and dial in is absolutely key. The greats do that, right? For instance, if you're kind of feel your business go with the market trends, well, that's something you have to detach from. And yeah, absolutely, we have to be in the market. It's part of our business. We have to do it, but we need to be ahead of it. We need to probably react a little bit sooner. Across the, hot times in real estate, everyone's like niche down, niche down, niche down. Well, now if you're niche down and say your niche is, move up buyers, it doesn't make a lot of sense for move up buyers to do that. So you might have to niche up, right? You don't have to leave that, and you don't have to leave that, niche, but you may have to add something else. And this is huge right now for me is, okay, the market's a little bit slower. Everyone's doing less transactions. That's no secret. But since my productivity is really systematized and doing what it needs to do on a regular basis, then I can focus on different business ventures, different, real estate investment opportunities. I can do that. I can focus on agent attraction and bringing people into my group so that they can experience what I experience with the Wolfpack or all of those things. But I'm able to keep that consistent, keep my production business going because it's systematized. And yeah, there's tweaks and changes I need to do here and there, but I was very specific and not necessarily niching down so far that if that niche dried up, I'd have to rebuild something over here. It's very, systematized, which is amazing at this stage. So just like in sports, you don't know, say it's an outdoor sport in football, you don't know if it's going to snow, rain, wind, be sunny. And you just have to adjust the conditions. And that's something that real estate agents really need to, embrace, especially as we go into this little bit different market than we've seen, right? You ask any agent, who's myself included, 10 years. I don't think I've been in a down market by any stretch for the last 10 years. So it's a little bit different. So we need to continue doing what we're doing that works and maybe use the time, right? It's utilization of the time we have right now because we're not as busy as we have been. And how do you utilize that time? Are you doing more stuff over here? Are you building this up more? Great. Are you building a new client funnel? Are you building a new business? Are you, attracting agents, starting your own brokerage? What are you doing right now that will be a game changer because you have the time to lay the foundation? And if you lay the foundation right, when the market does turn back on, for whatever reason, if you're strategic enough, then that's going to build your business and be absolutely amazing for you on the other side. So I mentioned a ton of people in the personal development space, from Andy to Ed to Michael Jordan to Peyton Manning. I want you to comment below who your favorite, inspirational personal development kind of person is that you follow, because I would love to, make sure that I'm hitting all the angles. And you can definitely get analysis by paralysis, but definitely do that. Shoot me a comment below. That'd be great. So the importance of personal development is absolutely there. Obviously, the more you take care of your body, the more in shape you are, the better you eat, the less you get out there and go crazy and party, the better you can be, because that recovery as we get older is huge, right? And if, 75 hard, my journey is anything, you take one thing from it, it's the clarity when you're eating right, when you're working out, when you're drinking water, when you're doing all the things to take care of your physical body, you are so much more productive. And the clarity that comes and allows you to, organize, first and foremost, organize your time and make sure that you're doing everything you can with your time to be successful. But also just the ability to, react and how you react is completely different when you're on that other level, which is absolutely amazing. I feel it right now because I'm doing a refresh, like I said. So as always, we're all champions in this. We're all here for each other. Not everyone's going to be perfect, especially on the mindset and the physical stuff, but we can absolutely band together and be a better group of real estate professionals. And if you ever need anything, please reach out. But this is absolutely the key. One of the most parallel things I've seen in the real estate game is the elite real estate agent to the elite athlete. So like, comment, subscribe, share the show. We'll catch you next time.